So today I have a lot of messing and cleaning up to do. So first thing I gotta do though is I gotta fix and remodify a charger. Doesn't seem to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So pull up a seat, sit over here. Is that light helpful? Nah, not really. Okay. Get my big ass over here. Come on, what's stopping me now? Oh, there. Water. Put the water over here for now. Turn on the solder iron. Solder iron is on. And take off a couple of screws.
No complaints should be everyone's motto. There is some stuff that in our team that is bubbling just beneath the surface. Worst nightmare is that I demand.
The plastic piece they use to turn the it's going to be a regular circuit. This may be better to either buy another one or build a different board completely. I don't know if you see this or not, but this is always something we're checking. Here are two copper tabs, we'll say, but they're just bare copper plate. One's in positive, the other one's in negative. When this charger fits in there, these contacts contact those pieces which add. So instead of using wire, they just use some spring-loaded connectors here. And when you put the top on, it pushes them down. If these can build up corrosion, it could be need a pencil. That's what I need. Because I don't have sandpaper fine enough for that. So that is fine. I know I got a pencil someplace. There we go. We don't want to ruin it with sandpaper, so we'll just use an eraser, and that will work just fine. There. And I may even put a little dab of flux on there first. And now where's my little rag? I know I do. I know I do. I have a little rag. There. And you can even see how clean it made it. It did. It did. And, get a little bit of alcohol just to take off any residue. There. You know, eventually I may just solder this because I personally don't care for this contact. I should have done it just then, but I don't have time to do it now because I gotta make a board apparently. Let me see. I'm gonna make something. I might as well make it a little smaller, even though it's gonna be bigger. And I gotta see if I have all the parts for it. Oh, a little deck. I don't know how I got hooked on that. I mean, I like boating. You know, the wife and I lived on a boat for 4 years. 5 years, 4 years, almost. Winter and summer, right here in Connecticut. Snow, blizzards. I enjoyed it, actually. I didn't have room for my hobbies, if that's what you want to call all this. I did have a ham radio in there, and I used a bow rail as an antenna. And it worked. However, I didn't use it that much. Yeah, the boat, well, I can't say it's as wide as this, because it's 20 feet, over 16 feet wide. However, okay. That one's running hot, and it shouldn't be. I threw this corn muffin out for the birds. Give the birds a little corn. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the other day I get an email. Ah, we're in there. Now, did I just destroy everything when I did that? Who knows? I got an email from Ancestry. Now, for those of you who may or may not do anything with it, for those of you who think it's just useless or whatever, it can be, to be honest with you. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing. You know, if you really want to know the truth about your family, and you do all the research between what it offers and what all the other ones out there offer, it'll definitely put you on the right track. Now, on the other hand, if you don't pay attention, you're going to find yourself all over the place. And you never know if it's going to be true or not. So you really have to pay attention. Why isn't that coming apart? They didn't put screws under these legs, did they? I mean, that's a possibility, because sometimes they do that. They did. I should have known. If it was that hard to come apart. Okay, so meanwhile, every now and then I'll get a letter or an email from them saying, this person is in your tree, or related to somebody in your tree. Do you want to check out the hints that we have, or check out the name or the person or whatever? So one came in one day, and it was telling me that it has a 80 something, it was 87, or was it 97? I don't remember now, I'll have to look. As far as DNA match, whatever they call it, percent, I'm going to call it a percentage. In other words, it's 87 or 97% is related to me. All right, we have the same DNA. Not 100%, but like 90%, 98. I think it was 97. It might have been 87. Anyway, I see how I get lost. I get tracked. So I go there and I'm looking, and it throws me to another page, you know, within there. And there's two of them that are free that you can use. One of them is called Family Search. I think it's a .com. It may be .org. I don't know. I have it linked. So, and there's another one called Genealogy or something like that online. Now, and that's also free. So anyway, put that back. Pull this one down. I started following this this email to the hints on my tree. So I started going into the tree, and I keep getting this name, Thomas. I'm not going to give you the last name just yet, because I'll give it away automatically. So I'm thinking Thomas, Thomas blank. So, okay, now how is Thomas Blank related to me? So I'm looking and come to find out it's my 6th great grandfather. Oh, okay, so let me go a little further to find out on what side. You know, because we have my mom's side and we have my dad's side. So I'm checking into that. Now, isn't that easy? Okay, so this is when they were making Baofangs a little bit better when they first came out, and they cost a little bit more money, because this is not the same board. So I can't even think about duplicating this one in any way. Okay. So I started following it further. I found out that it was on my mother's side. So it was my grandfather's grandfather, father, grandfather, whatever, on my mother's side. And I'm following it back. And I come up to a name. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even familiar with this name. By no way. No way did I ever think of this, because I'm not a big history bug either, so I don't get involved with a lot of that. So you can give me a name, and if it's not like George Washington or Lincoln, you know, I mean, I'm not going to know the name. I mean, there's even some presidents out there I don't know who the hell they are. All right? So, but meanwhile, getting back on the subject of the family tree, I started researching this name. And I research it backwards and forwards using Ancestry that I pay for, and the other two that are free. And if they start to come together and they're all telling me the same thing, you know, then at that point it kind of tells me that, okay, whatever it is I'm looking up, I'm on the right track. So that's kind of how I do it. And you say, well, if you're using the same names and the same things, you're going to get the same No, you're not going to get it, because what happens is sometimes people change things as they go along when they're making their tree up, which feeds the information to where you're looking, and then you have to start looking into family records to verify it. I mean, because a few times, you know, I'm verifying things and I start looking into the records that they may have, or whatever DNA they may have, to find out, well, it was close, but it wasn't mine. It's not connected to me. You know, the same name, but it wasn't connected to me. And that's kind of what happens. So, like I say, it's only going to tell you as much as you tell it. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of time on it either, and I'm not trying to sell it, because I may do, well, to tell you the truth, until I got that email, I haven't been on Ancestry or any of that for probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I really don't know, because I don't get on it a lot. And when I do, I don't let it rule me. I only stay on it for maybe 20 minutes to a half hour, and then, you know, I say, yeah, I got other things to do. I can always go back to it. It's always there. So, you know. So I'll make note as to what was what, and that's it. So anyway, I think I see, this is the one I gotta fix, and I think I see the problem here. Now I get to a point to where it's verifying. And the name, after saying it over and over and over again, is becoming familiar to me. Only because I keep repeating it. The wife was sitting on her couch, and I mentioned the name out loud. And I says, blank blank. She goes, what'd you say? I go, blank blank. Oh. All right. He wrote a book. I go, he did? Yeah. You know, back in the 1700s or so. I said, you're kidding. No. I says, wow. I said, well, he's my 6-time grandfather. You're kidding. No. Well, also, it goes beyond the book. One of the books he wrote was, again, I didn't know this, I looked it up, Common. And his name is Thomas Paine. Bingo! And that name did not ring a bell to me because, like I say, I'm not a big history bug, so I'm just looking it up as looking up a name. You know, I'm not looking it up saying, oh, this guy's important. Let me see if I can fit him into my system. You know, because, you know, I mean, it can be done if you do a lot of finagling, I'm sure. And at that point, come to find out, Thomas Paine, one of the founders of the country, is my 6-time great-grandfather. And also, I may or may not have mentioned it, King James of Scotland was also my grandfather. And Henry, King Henry, was also my grandfather. Yes, on my mother's side. And I don't know what happened. I mean, because I have no, well, I don't know what I want to say. I don't have any royalty, but apparently I do. However, I have nothing to show for it. You know, I have no servants or castles or muskets, you know. But at that point, that's where we're at. So that was pretty interesting. And then I got my father's side back, which is the last name that we go by, my surname. And that I'm actually, I got back to 1044. And it changed back then. So now I got to figure out how and where the changes were made. It says that it was changed. And it also said that it's from Viking heritage. So, and it had a lot more too. I'll bring it up someday and read it to you if you're interested. It's not a big deal, but it's interesting for sure. And again, you got to make sure you check to find out. You got to do the DNA checking. You have to double check, quadruple check, check front to rear, rear to front. You know, you got to do a whole background of checking. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find a part to fix this thing with. Where the hell can I find the part to fix that? Come on, this is crazy. Crazy. See, what happens with this is that, let me turn this off. There's a little light here. When I plug this in, that light should not come on. Nor should it be blinking. And when I plug the radio into it, it should come on and go red. And when it's fully charged, turn green. And if the light is on, it should be green. But I don't remember. Yes, green. It's green when it's charged, it's red when it's charging. But it shouldn't be blinking when it's not doing anything. Now if I check the voltage on it, it has the right charging voltage.
So we did not end up using the box, but at least I'm trying to be unique and creative.
Alright, it's coming through at 8.2, 8.23. That's DC. So it's coming through at the right charge voltage. However, there's a reason why we keep blinking. Now this wire, I wasn't sure because I haven't got a schematic on this thing. I was trying to follow the circuit. This wire, if I put it on the ground here, which is part of this IC chip, that light will stop blinking. However, it drops the voltage down so it's not charging. So that does not go there. Let me see something. So let's take off this little red wire. Let me get that cleaned off. Let's take that wire off for a minute.
Everybody knows about it. It creates complications within the professionalism of the crew. Everything's always okay in the end.
I'm wondering. What I'm looking for here is, I know I have it, but I haven't used it in so long. Where is it? I'm looking for something called solder wick. And what it does is, here it is. You take the solder iron and you put it and get it hot on the solder. Again, the voltage is disconnected. It'll lift the solder off the board into the wick. It's like desoldering. So it gives you an opportunity to see things a little bit better. There. And resolder, because sometimes you get a cold solder joint. Now, sometimes you'll see people just solder over it and heat it up and add a little, but the right way is to pull it out and resolder it. Now that didn't come out quite the way I wanted it to, so we're going to cut this off. Let me put a little flux on it, because that'll actually help, believe it or not, lift the solder. Get the solder iron back, and heat this up a little bit more. You know, last night, I didn't get to sleep until almost 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, and the thing was, I was tired. I don't know, it was, you know what happened? I'm watching TV, I'm on the internet, I'm trying to catch up on some vids. I don't want that, I don't want alcohol. So, as I'm going through this, I finally get to the point to where I can shut the computer down. And as I'm getting ready to shut it down, I see a YouTube video out there, you know, off to the side, that was free. And it's an hour and change long, and I'm saying, oh, okay, that'll help put me to sleep. Now the video was, I forgot the name of it now, but something like Miracle on Christmas Lake or Christmas Pond or something like that. And I thought, well, we watch it. So I turned it on, thinking I was going to go to sleep. Well, first of all, it was the dumbest video or movie that I've seen, that I feel anyway. I mean, it could have been somewhat okay, but it was just very poorly played. And see, now that's nice and clean. I don't know if you, oh, can you see it? Yeah, okay. And again, no, naturally none of the actors were actors, you know, as we know them to be. So, but putting aside that, you know, even the makeup, the storyline, but for some reason, I was glued to this thing. And again, it was just, in my opinion, the stupidest movie. I mean, it really was, I don't know, you know, and they try, when they do movies, they try to put some type of a meaning behind it or something, you know. I mean, even Demolition Man had a meaning, a hidden agenda, but this thing had nothing going for it other than Merry Christmas. So because of it, I didn't get to sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning or later. Now this doesn't have to be there, so I'm going to put this over here instead, because this way I don't have to worry about it being too close to the other end, because on the other side here, where the ground would, I thought, normally be, according to it, it's not there. And if it goes there, well, it could go right there. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't think of that. Wait a minute. You know, that's a strong possibility. Let's check that. All right, what I'm thinking here is I just noticed right here there's a little tab. Now, why do they have two grounds on this? Well, I don't know. And this one's connected to ground already, and it goes to there. Okay? From here to here, that's ground. From here to here is ground. Well, they got this other ground wire coming off of here. And everything on the board is still grounded through this. So why would they have a second ground wire? Not unless it's a separate wire off the side of some type of a switch, or in this case that IC. And that's the question. Now it's green again. Well, let's plug it in and see if it turns red. That's the way it's supposed to work. I have no idea. Alright, I'm going to leave it be for now. We'll get back to that another time. Alright, so meanwhile, I'm going to put you up here and I'm going to finish my coffee. Good! We fixed it. It's fully charged, the light turned green. When it's charging, the light turns red. So we're all set. So that radio is fully charged.